Hi everyone, my name is Miho Aida. I am an immigrant from Japan, born and raised in Tokyo between my loving and hard-working parents who grew up during the post-World War II famine. They gave me the name Miho, with their wish embedded in these two characters. Mi means people. In this character, there is a reference to democratic and equitable society where all people's voices are heard and everyone thrives. The second character, Ho, means rice, the staple food of Japan. My mother grew up on a rice farm. As supporters of local sustainable agriculture, my parents valued rice fields as symbols of Japanese culture. They understood that role rice fields played in preserving water and providing animal habitat. By giving me this name with these two characters, my parents hoped that I would become a protector of people, culture, and environment, and a creator of greater democracy. I am grateful to have been anchored in these roots. They have provided the groundwork for my life's purpose. I was destined to become an environmental educator, empowering youth to become advocates, a filmmaker elevating Indigenous women's voices, an activist defending our public land, and a socially engaged outdoor athlete creating change. Being an immigrant, I never thought about how much impact I could make as an individual. And when I met with the Arctic indigenous community, Gutchen people, and when I heard about their struggle to protect their sacred land in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, it didn't matter if I had a citizenship status with the United States or not. I just could not ignore what I might be able to do or may not be able to do as an individual because I care so much about people. And especially in the context of the history of what indigenous communities been through in this United States of America, I just had to do something. As I interviewed and listened to their story, I became aware that these people have already been seeing the impact of climate change. They talked about the difference in migration pattern of birds that affect their hunting outcome. They showed me what they called drunken trees. These are the trees that are leaning off of the ground due to the permafrost melting. If the Arctic was already showing the effect of climate change and its impact on indigenous community, I knew that it's just a matter of time for the rest of us to feel the impact. We know the polar regions are more sensitive and show early sign of what's coming for the rest of the planet. When an elder, Sarah James, asked me, maybe I can go visit other women and I can interview them and I can make a film. Even I didn't have any experience in filmmaking, I had to say yes to their invitation. So because it wasn't originally my intention to make a film when I went to the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, I didn't really have much technology with me. All I had was a flip video camera and a tripod that I borrowed from another filmmaker happened to be there in Arctic. And I started interviewing all these other women besides an elder, Sarah James. And then because I didn't have any more budget, I couldn't hire a team of filmmakers who are able to turn this product into a film that I could present to the world. So I had to learn how to edit. I had to learn how to acquire the footages I didn't have access to. I had to learn how to put music on. All these things that usually you do as a team, I had to do by myself. And I didn't even have a really good computer. All I had was a MacBook with iMovie. And I was able to produce little under 20 minutes of film because if I tried to make anything more than 20 minutes, my computer couldn't handle, so it crashed. That maybe I can take this film on a bicycle film tour. One woman, one film, one bicycle riding over 1,000 miles. The first year, I didn't have any sponsors or support. I basically came up with this idea of bicycle film tour from Seattle to San Francisco, which is about 1,000 miles. And my plan was to stop on the way at each state park along the coast. I stopped by all these state parks and I did campground screening. And I had this tiny, portable projector. And I was able to create this portable theater, which basically flipped my bike upside down, put the P cord over it, and then put the white sheets over, and then project the film onto that with outdoor little tiny speaker in my Tupperware to amplify the sound. So that's all I had. That's what I did in the first year. And then that was enough to have this platform for me to bring this story of me going on this grassroots film tour on my bike to large environmental organizations, which have been promoting the protection of the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. The following year, I had a support from the Sierra Club, the Wilderness Society, Alaska Wilderness League. These are large green organizations. That was in 2015, and then it's been going on for the last 6 years. I live in California where we have experienced record high temperature during the summer and the fall, serious droughts, and numerous wildfires. 2 falls ago, I witnessed a wildfire while I was teaching my students on a trail. I'd never seen anything like that in my past 20 years of my teaching career. I immediately called the Park Service, and within a few minutes, I was asked to come back to our campus. I was told to leave my students, go home and evacuate from my housing, since the fire was very close to my home. That same fall, our Southern California campus was burned down, ending our programs that served thousands of students from greater Los Angeles area. And last fall, we experienced a wildfire that put many of us, especially those with asthma, at risk. So at first, the impact on my health seemed more negative. And at the same time, I was able to have a mindset to go inward and tap into my roots. As a result, I feel much stronger and connected not only to myself, but also to humanity to combat any issues that would arise in the future, including the current COVID-19 social, health, and economic crisis. When you look at any kind of social movement, it all begins with one person who believes in personal responsibility and power and takes action. For example, in my own experience, I found my niche to support the Gucha Nation and their work to protect their sacred land through my film. That eventually led me to be part of much larger movement for the Arctic. I learned my lessons. One is to take action no matter how small it is. Two is to find people who share the similar passion and goals. Three is to invite them to join you or you join them. And four is to stay humble and continue sharing your strengths to support the larger movement. Many Native American people I work with always remind me of interconnection and interrelationships. And this is how I was raised to see myself in the context of others and my impact on everything and everyone around me. By emphasizing that together everyone achieves more, I would affirm the power of a collective and a community. There is no accomplishment achieved by I. There is so much power in we. With that, I would want you to have a strong network and opportunities for broad ideas to make a difference in global issues like climate. Now it's time to take action because anything you learn, if you remain inactive or without taking action, doesn't really show that you actually care. It's always important to take action, no matter how small it is. I think it's important for young people to identify what you feel passionate for in the context of climate change, because some people care about impact of climate change on animals, plants, air quality, or on people. A lot of people care about how climate change impact disproportionately have effect on people who don't have basic human rights. So it's up to you to identify what you feel passionate for.